To be honest, I'd rather just be a little lonelier than deal with all the hassle of dating. I'm really not in a place emotionally and financially where I can deal with sorting through a bunch of misses to find a missus. Nowadays, with dating apps, there's always something new and more exciting just around the corner. So many women I've dated have abruptly broken things off because they found something more exciting. Dating is like taking on a part-time job. I don't have the time or the energy. I'm sure all of you can relate to that. Social media, Hollywood, and porn have really altered the expectations of the general public across the board when looking for a mate. It's actually really messed up psychologically when a person thinks about it. Specifically, unrealistic expectations are held by people who conveniently hold themselves to extremely low standards but feel entitled to the best. More specifically, unrealistic expectations are held by people who act like victims when they're confronted with equally high expectations.
We're almost at the end of 2023, and if you look at the society crumbling down around us, you will see how dating has also deteriorated. As a culture, we have apparently made progress, but there are still standards that apply only to men and not to women. Unrealistic and downright unpleasant expectations. While some modern women might be inclined to place the blame on the patriarchy, the majority of them continue this never-ending cycle of expecting more from the other gender. It wouldn't be so uneven if women assumed equal responsibilities, which will never happen, to be honest. However, the majority of women currently face the difficulty of having too many options, rather than being the ones who need to look for possibilities. Women receive a lot of attention simply for sharing a few hot photos on Instagram, while regular men receive zero attention and are essentially invisible. There has been a lot of effort put into criticizing the unfair standards that are applied to women, but not as much to men. It's as if men just don't matter to society anymore. It makes perfect sense for men to stop dating in today's world. Women's expectations from men are essentially unattainable, but women only need to be attractive to be successful in the dating world. You're supposed to believe that social justice, equality, and other such nonsense prevail in today's world. That is not true. So let's stop the BS now. Men are tired of being rejected, doing the work, not having respectful women in their lives, being treated like disposable items, and the list goes on. Men are recognizing it is pointless to chase women. Instead, they should chase excellence and forge their own path. Even when they're interested, women want you to do all the work, which is exhausting and probably something you don't want to put up with anymore. Instead, they act uninterested until you leave, at which point they reveal their genuine sentiments. It is best to save your limited energy for pursuing worthwhile objectives. If you're successful, they'll probably show up on their own. Just don't ever waste time trying to attract women. What do you expect will happen, even if a woman agrees after you chase her? Rather than pursuing and expending energy, it would be more effective to just express interest. Cut your losses and keep looking if she doesn't respond in kind. Even if it may seem difficult, the best course of action is to avoid participating in all these psychological tricks and confusing signals. I'm about to tell you guys why men are avoiding the dating scene today. Tragically, it is clear that society employs men as a resource. Men are measured by success specifically, whereas women are measured by their physical beauty. Men have to contend with arbitrary standards. They are expected to have a high-paying job, a desirable body, a home, etc. Women only need to be attractive for some guys to desire to have a romantic encounter with them, even if they only score a 4 out of 10. In reality, it's nearly impossible to be a man that women want to be intimate with and that men look up to. So many males are unwilling to expend valuable energy courting a girl's favor. Why have guys given up on dating then? If you've ever used a dating app, you know how dehumanizing it can be for a regular person. You rapidly discover that the majority of women don't give you any thought. You and most guys are considered inferior by the great majority of women. In the present dating scene, being a man is hard. Navigating the minefield of being expected to initiate all interactions while not being awkward, while being irrationally confident and outgoing, while trying not to weird a woman out for qualities that make you unique despite those qualities, while being common and normal, and while trying to simultaneously be respectful of consent. The list just goes on and on and on and never seems to stop. The majority of young men do not earn the kind of money that most women dream of. It's hard to live your own life while being on guard against losing someone's transitory interest who is deliberately seeking any conceivable red flag to give an excuse to ghost you. I believe there is a propensity to downplay how harsh dating is for young men in today's society. When things go tough, I see people justifying illogical standards for men. We are deliberately upholding the same chauvinistic norms for males while feigning an interest in this utopian, imaginary, egalitarian, and prosperous future. It appears that there are still these widely accepted and romanticized ideals for what a handsome man should be. In other words, a guy is devoid of emotions, flaws, and blunders. He is doing well financially. He is tall, attractive, and in excellent physical condition. He works with his hands in addition to having a degree. He is not just confident, as some claim, but also socially dominant. You see, it is unhealthy and impractical to have such expectations. But today's women just provide their beauty in exchange for what they desire, which is literally every good quality possible in a man. But this stereotype continues to be widely held. Living in the most well-liked music videos, TV episodes, novels, movies, and fan fiction establishes the benchmark for getting a response in online dating, etc. All of us are somewhat aware that most men are not this ideal. We are aware that our fathers weren't. Brothers are not either. We realize that's not how our sons behave. Why then have men stopped dating? I believe the reason for this is largely down to the fact that being held to a standard to which you just cannot fairly expect to live up is extremely demeaning. Simply to get your foot in the door and maybe show someone that even if you're not 6'3", making 6 figures a year with washboard abs, a business degree, enjoy an active but social media safe social relationships, enjoy no personal troubles, and have no bad qualities. Even though you're not that guy, you could be a worthy human. Despite all of this valid justification, women still refuse to accept anything that falls short of that standard. Thus, it is simple to see why males feel frustrated. I believe that many young guys initially put themselves in vulnerable situations more than once and get dehumanized by the pressure to succeed. You can only damage yourself from the inside so many times before you conclude it's eroding your sense of value, especially when the message seems to be that repeatedly. We have a serious issue when the overwhelming majority of young men are held to unrealistic standards by women. It's challenging to have trust in one's abilities right now. I have the impression that a significant portion of the problem is not simply that young men are flawed, but also that most of them soon adopt stereotypes of the ideal. And wherever there is a shortcoming, a weakness in character, or a warning sign, that is it. Women move on. He is no longer even worth their time. Let's be honest before a young man reaches that stage. Until he is shown to be innocent, there are already biased assumptions about him, such that he may be a predator, an emotional abuser, a weirdo, a creep, clumsy, too soft, too attached, didn't read the signs, a loser, etc. Guys who tried dating had a hurdle to climb. For a chance, they had to overcome a lot of preconceived notions. Then, in the encounters that follow, tread carefully since the other person can misinterpret a joke or think that you're having a bad day because they want you to prove that you're just like everyone else. I was aware of it. Modern women, however, will never ever place themselves in a man's position. Modern women don't have empathy. Consider your feelings in the circumstance. Your objective is to persuade the other person that you are innocent of prejudging them. They are seeking for you to fail the test, so you are not at fault. Additionally, you must demonstrate that you merit this person's attention, and you appear to have failed time and time again without really understanding why. Did you say something? Was it images you posted on social media? Was there anything you forgot to say? A job you had? Were you being too frank? You weren't bold enough, were you? It might be preferable to steer clear of dating at this time, because these thoughts are merely annoying. Stay mindful. You should take the initiative because a woman will never approach you first. Nobody is going to make you feel better about yourself. You eventually come to the conclusion that you're just not appealing or good enough. Because it hurts to be reminded that no one finds you attractive enough to even consider you for a lunch date, you stop participating in that element of your life. Why would you want a reminder exactly? Instead, you would rather concentrate on activities that are happier and more productive. As we turn the page on the year 2023, men are also turning their pages of dating and choosing to remain single, choosing to be happy. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Support us and help us spread support for men around the world. Do comment and share your thoughts. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.